Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Union Jackoff. My name is Daniel Muggleton. We are back on video live at the Vauxhall Comedy Club Labs. That's what I'm officially calling this place. Mooch, are you happy with that as a title?
It'll do. That sounds good.
Fucking bang. Vauxhall Comedy Club Labs. I have two guests for you today. Two good friends of mine. Sometimes I just have comedians on. You guys, friends. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rob Mulholland.
Hello.
I mean, it is also like audio. So
Yeah,
you gotta,
I forgot that.
It's like doing a big wave in silence. Fucking strong start. And Andrea Hubert, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi. I didn't know this was being filmed with video.
And now you do.
And now I do.
And it's fine.
It's great. It's absolutely fine. I'm very comfortable.
This is going to be pretty much the vibe for the next hour. But no, so we got Rob from Leeds. Is it Leeds or outside Leeds?
I'm from North Yorkshire. Like Leeds is like the closest big city. I'm from a little town called Knaresborough in North Yorkshire.
Knaresborough, is that spelled with a K? I was going to say that's definitely one of those bullshit English spellings.
If you want to know how to spell it, kings nearly always read easy storybooks or ride on ugly green horses. That's what I got taught when I was 6.
Me too, but it was nothing to do with this.
And Andrew, you're from London.
I'm from London, from North London.
North London,
yeah.
North. The specific, like
I'm
necessary.
I'm from Harrow.
But is it like necessary to specify?
Yeah, it is.
What
yeah,
you
yeah,
can?
yeah.
I can't.
I think it is.
Yeah, that's a North London accent.
This is a North London accent.
Yeah.
If you want to be real specific, it's a Northwest London Jewish accent.
It's nice to fill out a form right from the top of the podcast.
White other. So,
White other? Is that a thing? Do you have forms here?
Yeah.
I don't think
we have forms. Yeah, we've got all sorts of things.
Yeah, we actually had them before you guys.
Yeah.
So.
We had ones where
we for them, guys.
Yeah, we'd take what crime you committed.
And then sent you on your merry way.
And merry it was, to a sunnier place that's on fire most of the time now. Thank you for climate change. Please learn how to recycle.
So welcome.
But no, because like I don't know in Australia if we have like the forms with the race thing. Because I had this American guy on, he was like, you fill them out like as a kid.
Yeah.
Like you're in school and it's just like, what are you? And he's like, black.
Yeah, sorry, are we going to get taught about racism by an Australian?
Yeah, this is adorable.
Yeah, I'm an expert. Thank you.
Yeah. You guys are pro.
At doing or noticing? It's,
both. Learn by doing. Learn by doing, right? It's very simple. I got a dad. He's in the UK right now. He's going to say some racist shit, for sure.
Why isn't your dad here with us on this podcast? That would be awesome.
Because I don't want to record things that he says without like one of those 5-second TV delay buttons, you know? But it's casual. Like in Australia, the racism is casual.
Yeah, to be fair, where I'm from, it's a very casually racist place as well, like in North Yorkshire. Small town in North Yorkshire, there's not a lot of diversity going around, like in my hometown. There is a lot of questionable viewpoints. But, like, no one, it doesn't really matter, is what I feel about the people in my town.
To you?
Well, no, because, like, they're not doing anything. They never leave that town. None of them vote. Like, none of them do anything. They're not influencing anything. Let them think what they want. Like, you're not changing their mind. They're thick as fuck. I mean, some of them are great.
Rob Mulholland, huge in his hometown.
Yeah,
massive.
Yeah, it's the only place I sell tickets. I really shouldn't cut them off. Knaresborough's great. No, it
they
is.
are not listening to this.
No, this is true. Like, they haven't got the internet yet.
Still like dial-up. 56K? Was that the 52K?
56.
56
it was,
yeah, I don't want to get technical, so I don't like numbers.
What character are you playing right now?
I'm really tired.
Yeah, you said what? Because you stopped smoking weed.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
I
mean, it's fine.
I should have written a list of shit I don't want to talk about.
All right, I'll talk about fucking anything. I don't give a shit.
Rob, we understand your brand, and even if they've never heard of you before now, they get it quickly.
Brand is a strong word for what I do.
I think it's fair. I think you do have quite a strong
I think
brand.
Rob Mulholland's brand is like barista cutting loose. That's kind of the vibe.
Wow, he could not have been more offensive just then.
No, but so accurate.
Yeah.
Like, and
I used to be a barista. I was like, you look like you used to be a barista. He's like, I did.
I used to be a maestro, which is head barista.
I've always wondered what a barista is exactly.
It's just a coffee maker. It just
but
means bar staff in Italian. Like, that's literally it.
So is there a qualification you do for it?
Yeah, you have to be a dick.
No, there is. Like,
have
then
to qualify
I am
as
a
total
barista.
dick, and then you get to make coffee.
Yeah, I think you can call yourself one. I don't think there's like an adjudicating body, but
There's
like
No, but
at,
the
at
pizza,
Cafe
there's
Nero,
like
I did do an exam. In order to become a maestro, I had to do a practical and written exam in coffee making.
Maestro, please.
Yeah. So like they like I went to this
So
centre in
Mr.
Manchester. Like I had to make coffees, and they would like go through with a spoon, go through my cappuccino. If there's a bubble, you got sent home. Instant fail. One bubble in your cappuccino.
Wait, it's like
But a
Mr. Nero.
cappuccino has froth.
Yes, but your froth should be smooth.
Oh, it shouldn't be made of bubbles, or should the
Very
bubbles be so
tiny
small
bubbles.
that you can't see that they're bubbles?
Exactly. If you get like a big air bubble in the middle of it, yeah, I had to do all that shit, and like that was in order to earn, and I shit you not, 25p an hour more.
Well, I didn't know I was sat with a maestro. I'm suddenly so intimidated. I'm going to call you maestro the entire time now.
Please
Dude,
do.
like,
Please
Seinfeld
do.
episode. Maestro, the conductor, who insists on being called. Why does nobody watch Seinfeld in this
Can I
fucking
tell
country?
you why? I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because when Seinfeld was on, when it was first on, you had to have a Sky package to watch it. A lot of people didn't have the Sky package, like the
Right.
satellite TV. So we watched everything that was on terrestrial, but unless you bought the special package, you missed out on a bunch of shows, which is why most people here have missed out on Seinfeld.
Yeah, I have caught up on it since.
That's good. I mean, I just like the fact that I just assumed because you're Jewish, I was like, she knows about Seinfeld. Like, I was like, this is like
Didn't
an
I just
expert
tell you
opinion.
something you didn't know about Seinfeld?
You did.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
So you're
But
right.
I was right, but I'm just like, it was wrong. Like in my
You were
head.
right for the worst reason.
Exactly. Which is how I live my life. Wait, so I just need to understand, how can Cafe Nero be like, excuse me, Rob, we think you're great. We want to give you a promotion.
I was smashing it in the coffee shop.
Sit an exam.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, sure.
Well, basically, I got paid to go to Manchester for a day rather than working in the coffee shop.
They
So that-
paid for you to take the exam.
Yeah, like they pay for, you get paid for a day to go do it.
Right.
And then, I my job was to then train the new recruits when they came in. I was the trainer in store.
You were the head maestro.
I was also in charge of the coffee standards for the shop. So it was my responsibility if a bad coffee was sold. Mental. But thank fuck I don't do that job anymore. It was dog shit.
Where was this? Was this in London?
It was in Harrogate, which is a really posh town in the north, which is like the next town over to where I'm from. Like I'm from like the sort of poor
I know
relation to Harrogate. Of course you do.
Of course I've been to Harrogate. It's delightful. It's
It
the
is.
home of the British Spa.
Yes, it is. It's a very, very beautiful place full of cunts and
And incredible architecture and
Incredible
beautiful
architecture.
designer shops full of lovely furniture.
yeah, gorgeous. Also has a weirdly massive heroin problem. Like it's a lot of trust fund kids.
Oh, I didn't
like
know
go
that.
on to heroin. Yeah, so our toilet. We were right next to the bus station, so every day I'd find needles in the toilet, and like it was a fucking horrible job.
Why were you? Well, just like in the ground of the toilet.
Yeah,
Not
just like
the bin. I thought you
Is
were just
this
kind of like
still-
inspecting the
is
toilet.
it still related to the job, or do you just go to the toilets to find needles?
No, I wasn't looking for
and
them.
then moan about it.
They were just there. I've got a needle phobia, so I would just lock it. Whenever there was one in there, I just locked the door and then called the council, and that was it. I wouldn't fucking go anywhere near it.
Why would you ever touch a needle that you didn't buy yourself?
Well, this is it. Like,
By yourself.
Why were
How
you
many
buying a
needles?
needle? have you bought a needle?
Oh, well, one time I made this really elaborate costume, and and I had to. I was making. Do you know? It doesn't. The details.
Oh,
aren't
it matters. No. Like,
Okay.
don't
you
skip
can't
me
lay
all
that
the
down
things.
and not
All right,
provide
fine.
detail.
So the theme was Under the Sea, and I decided to make a
Statement.
I decided
A
to
horrible
make
life
statement.
choice.
So I made a skirt made out of fisherman's netting, and then I attached things that one might find under the sea. So I had like a little puppy in a bag, and like loads of needles, and like a few dead hands and things. So I
Right,
went
so
to
this
Boots.
was like the sea around Grimsby.
Look, I don't want to be bitchy about Grimsby, but yes. And
Wait, is Grimsby an actual place?
Yeah, it is.
That sounds like a fake shit English town.
Yeah, well, no, it's
I
a
mean, he grew
real
up in-
shit English town.
He grew up in Grimsby. Ugh.
It's near Hull, but like it's slightly worse than Hull somehow.
I have to
nice.
let Rob describe these things and put them down because I can't.
Yeah.
course.
In my accent, it sounds like affectionate.
Yeah. But in mine, it would be too real, almost.
I mean, don't
But
worry.
the end of the story is I went into Boots to try and buy some syringes, and she wouldn't sell them to me because she didn't believe that I needed them for medical purposes.
Well, you did.
You didn't. You
No,
did
of
it for
course I
costume
didn't. I
purposes.
did.
Arts and
So I had
crafts
to get
purposes.
so I had to get a diabetic friend to get them for me. So because at the time you still had to use a syringe to inject the insulin, whereas now you use a
Right.
pen. You get it. You guys get it.
Tell me something I don't know about insulin.
So the point is, you can't just buy syringes, guys.
Well, good to know.
Yeah,
good to know.
good to know.
Yeah.
Well, look, that's lovely. You can find them in toilets though in Harrogate.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lovely Harrogate.
Yeah, but that's not the kind you want on your skirt.
No, those,
Probably not.
No, those ones wouldn't go near them. Like, I am thankful for my needle phobia. I genuinely think that is the only reason I'm not a smackhead. Like, I genuinely considered heroin quite a few times. I went, needles.
When you
You can smoke
You can
it.
smoke it.
Yeah, I know, but then it always
call a
leads
guy.
to needles. No one ever stops at smoking it, do they? Like, no one ever goes, oh, that's
actually,
enough.
No,
If
some
you
That
smoke
is not
enough.
true. Because
Some people snort it too, don't they?
All right, fine, I'll do smack. I'm convinced.
I used to live with a guy who did heroin like once every 3 months. He would say, "I'm having."
Well, like quarterly heroin?
Well, kind of. He'd have a bunch of friends round to the living room, and he'd call it a brown night. And I would, and
That is such a problematic title.
I
And it's
know.
not because he's doing heroin. What an
Was the
amazing,
makeup involved?
what an amazing needle thread.
Justin
on
Trudeau
that.
round this party.
You've assumed that they were all white. You are correct.
I mean, you do
yeah.
live with them.
Yeah,
So.
yeah,
this is your friendship group.
You don't know me, but you've guessed right. No, and I would always just go out that night because I just didn't fancy it at all.
Yeah,
it
that's
just wasn't
fair.
for me.
I think
And then
that's
I'd come
fair.
back the next sort of day, and they'd all be sort of on the floor, and that was it was like I lived with him for about a year and a half, so there were about 6 brown nights and 6 brown mornings. And, I think I don't. It didn't appeal to me, but I have always imagined heroin must be amazing, or so many people wouldn't ruin their lives.
It's pretty
doing
good.
it.
I've done it by accident. Like, it was pretty good, but like not like.
How'd you do it by accident?
Well, like I got given a powder that wasn't what I thought it was.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But I was already on a lot of other drugs, so it was very hard to tell what the heroin specifically was doing it. But I've had a lot of different opiates, and like it's nice, but it's not my vibe.
I like things in pill form.
Yeah, I
so-
like uppers. I like uppers more than anything.
Like if they're put in a pill, that's fine, but I don't want to be dealing with.
You could
like,
definitely press it into a pill. So we've all sorted out how we're going to do smack. Then. Brilliant.
I always had
What a
this
positive
idea.
podcast this is.
I had this idea that I would do it, but only if I make it to 80, that's when I'd like to start.
Well, no,
you know?
everyone
Then
ends
you
up
just
on
get
heroin.
morphine then, don't
Yeah,
you?
everyone
That's
ends
what
up
I'm
on
saying.
heroin. Everyone dies a smack addict because that's one that when you're in a nursing home or you're in hospital and they say, "Oh, we've made them comfortable."
Yeah, I
They've
know.
pumped them full of smack.
They
That's all that
certainly
means.
haven't laid them in a room filled with cotton wool. like,
Exactly. Yeah. So like
Would that be
every one of us
comfortable?
goes out a smack addict, and I can't wait.
I didn't realise there was such a thing as a conversation stopper in a podcast, but I think you found it.
I mean, I just like that when I got you guys on, I was like, this could really go anywhere, but I never thought heroin was the starting point. I was like,
Mate, this is the brand.
It's not my brand, guys. Yeah, no.
but wait, so you grew up in Yorkshire,
Yeah.
and then you went to uni.
Yes,
In
in
London?
London. Yeah, in southeast London. I went
What
to Goldsmiths.
university? Goldsmiths.
Yeah. Like I didn't do art. I just wanted to hang around art students.
So you hate art students.
Yeah.
You hate anyone pretentious. Why would you go to
Well, no,
Goldsmiths?
I hate them now.
Because you
Goldsmiths made
experienced
you the man
them.
you are
Because
today.
I lived through it, yeah. Like basically, like because I grew up like with like because I was in such a small town and like
How many people in this town? Give me a figure.
50,000. You know,
That's not that
No, it's not
small.
tiny. It's not like a
You
village.
gotta remember, Australian small towns like 5,000.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah, it's
and also
weird.
this town
Yeah.
is growing constantly, so I don't really know how much it was when I was little.
And these thick people are breeding, is what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, they are. But like, because it's in a nice area,
Man,
like
you're
it's
gonna be
growing
huge in a
more and
few
more.
years.
But yeah, like, but it's the sort of place where I know everyone. You know, like I know all the people in town centre. You know, like
Right.
it's you know, it's a local sort of place. So I grew up like without any culture or anything there. So all my culture was sort of vicarious. And everyone that I was really into, all the bands I was into, they all went to art school. I was into like weird post-punk bands and like indie and stuff like that. And I wanted to go be part of that. I thought that's where the interesting, cool people go. I'll go hang out there. And it was really fun, but I did also meet a lot of cunts. And,
Sure.
Yeah.
It's an art school.
Yeah.
Have you
did,
met
yeah.
people who paint?
Yeah, loads of them. Yeah, pricks.
Yeah,
like,
dicks,
I met a
dude.
lot of great people, but also, yeah, it's fucking tiresome. It's really tiresome. And like, I just realised that when I got there, loads of the people who were there weren't creative. They weren't interesting. They were just rich. And that's what really soured me to it. Like,
And then you went into stand-up comedy.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I thought, you know what? We know what would be better for that. Comedy. Little did I know.
Yeah, people with no visible proof of their talent, like the worst kind. We're the worst kind.
No, audible proof.
All of them.
Surely. If you're making people laugh, that's proof enough. No?
Yeah, that is.
I mean, I disagree. I've heard plenty of people laugh at trash.
Yeah, that is true.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
there are ways of making people laugh. Like there are comics
Yeah,
who
we should know that. We should know those ways. That's our job.
Song parodies.
Oh my god.
Okay, don't. Because
like
I can't even. That just drives me crazy.
My
Yeah.
fiance Mary, who I love from the bottom of my heart, likes song parodies, and it's an issue.
Yeah,
I find it really hard to understand how that marriage will still go ahead then. Because in terms of things you like, that's really upsetting.
I'm slowly weaning her off it. It's like her heroin. Just kind of moving her back off it till she
My
depends
girlfriend
on other
likes Weird
things.
Al.
Weird Al's like kind of a
but
classic
Weird Al
though.
started it all, so
Yeah,
you
but
know.
it's still shit. It's still fundamentally shit. I don't get how long he's been doing it. It's dog shit. It is.
I think if you've been doing it as long as him, you can kind of get past the part.
Don't encourage them. That'll mean that people keep going in order to try and stay long enough in
I
order
feel
to
like
get
I don't
validation.
have the power you think I have. I wish I did, but no.
All these musical comedians listening to this being like, Andrew
Well,
said
Andrea
to go
said
on.
Keep going, so I've said a lot of things, guys.
Fucking mad brag from you.
I said so much stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like we was in arts college because the only reason arts college seems like a very British thing, and I say that because I've heard like that Pulp song where they talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
And like Blur was all arts.
Blur
college.
went to Goldsmiths.
Uh-huh.
Like Pulp talks about St Martin's, which was down the road. But yeah, Blur went to my college, and then like Tracy Emin and Damien Hirst all went to my uni.
Is an arts thing like it's fine arts and that's
Yeah,
all they
like
offer?
Goldsmiths.
No.
No, that's why I went. Because
Uh-huh.
I went and studied politics. They do other topics, but their main focus is their fine arts
Sure.
department.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in Australia, like the universities, there's like fine arts, which is like very separate, and there's like kind of there's acting places here too, right? Just acting.
Yeah.
Like kind of like
Yeah, yeah.
drama.
Drama school.
Yeah, drama
yeah,
school. There
we
we go.
have those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm asking.
Sorry, just as a blanket thing, we've got everything you've got and more.
Yeah.
Pop
That
and
is
Sun.
that is not true. You do not have an indigenous population.
We barely do
Fucking
now.
We do. They just look like me.
No, they don't.
We've tried so hard to get rid of them.
So have we. Ugh. Inappropriate, but historically
Very accurate.
accurate. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't deny that. Like, it's getting better. Every podcast this comes up, you guys are like, you're so mean to your indigenous population. I'm like, you started it. Like, literally, you started for our indigenous population.
I don't think I did though. I don't feel like I've really got any responsibility.
I don't know.
For this.
I don't know that that's an okay thing to say. I don't mean like you can't say it, but I
Yeah.
mean I don't know. I think that the general thought is that even if one didn't do a thing, you have to at least accept the benefits from the people who did. If you're
No.
mildly related, no, Rob's not having any of that shit.
I've not had any of the fucking benefits. It's not me who's like
You
profited
have-
from it.
You have had the benefits. You can go
Yeah,
to
well,
the-
we got rid of a load of cunts. That was the benefit to me and my family. Like, we got rid of you lot.
What? The
Wait,
criminals.
who's you lot? Oh,
That
The
would be
Australians.
the criminal population.
Can you trace your lineage back to criminals?
I've never checked. I'm so not interested
Yeah.
in my heritage.
I'm kind of the same.
Yeah, because I got this ancestor who invented a religion. I just don't
Which one?
care.
I mean, not
Moses.
which not which
Islam.
not
Weird.
which ancestor, which religion.
Moses. No, it was Muggletonianism. I know this sounds like a lie.
Oh my god.
Fuck off.
No, it's not
On
a
the
lie.
contrary, it sounds exactly like what I would expect you to say.
Muggletonianism.
I'll put it. I think I've spoken about this before. This thing. I'll put a link in. It's a thing.
Wow.
If you
okay.
Google Muggletonianism, there's a Wikipedia page that explains it and all that stuff.
Right.
It doesn't just explain that. It explains
explains a lot.
this. Frankly,
Explains your Jesus complex,
Wow.
doesn't it?
It's a different religion.
Yeah,
Like we
yeah,
weren't
yeah.
into him, you know. It's my Buddha complex. No, you never hear that, do you?
No, yeah. It's
Just-
got a real Buddha complex. He thinks he's well zen.
It's just so calm. He's got a real Buddha complex. Never heard him complain. But wait, so you went down to London and you hated it. You hated
No,
the London.
I liked it. And like,
What do you mean? We were just outside.
No,
You're like,
right.
fucking London.
No, right.
Ugh.
It's more complex than that, right? I hate it now, right? I've been soured to it. When I first came, I was dead excited. I was like moving to the big city, and for the first year or two, it was great. And then slowly, London fucking broke me. It is such a hard place to live. Everything you want to do here is way more difficult than anywhere else in the fucking country. Just doing anything, going down the shops is harder than it is anywhere else. It's just a difficult, tough place filled with people who are trying to trick themselves into enjoying it. And everyone here is like, it's great, it's the best city in the world, I couldn't live anywhere else, it's fantastic. And because they're all just like, got this con trick that it's the best place. And then as soon as you live anywhere else, you realise, nah, it's dog shit here. Like, living in Manchester is so much better. It's half the price, it's way more fun, there's loads more going on that is actually good.
There's not loads more going on that's good. You can't
That's good.
make that argument.
There are thousands of events happening every day in London with 3 people there. Like, everything's so spread out, everything's so spread so thinly, no one could afford to do anything. It's like all the interesting people have fucked off.
Rude.
I said what I said.
Yes, you did.
I disagree with that. I think Manchester's cool. I dig it up there, but I would get bored. I would. It's too small.
Nah, man.
Like Sydney's 5 million, and like I think that's a bit small. Like I'm just kind of like,
what do you need? Like, what do you need?
Well, Sydney's very spread out too. Like
Yeah.
I like the kind of crush of here. Like I like just you can wander like through to stuff, and there's always things on. Like compared to Australia,
Same in Manchester.
there's not as much. There's not as much. I mean, look, I haven't spent enough time there to say it unequivocally, but
I've
there
spent
isn't.
a lot of time in both. I can equivocally.
I grew up in London, and I can see both sides of your argument.
Yeah.
I like that you said before this podcast you were not going to be disagreeable, and you're just trying to stick to
Super
it.
chill, man. Like, I get it. It is really expensive. I do love it in a way that you love the place you're from, and I know it really well, but it is very, very tough to live here not being rich, and it's getting tougher every day, and it's kind of becoming untenable. It has become untenable already.
Well, was it more fun? Like, because what? You would have lived to
About 2005 I moved here. Like, so when I was 18. So yeah, I think about 2005 till about 2009. I think that's about right.
It's like 15 years ago. Was it more fun then?
Well, there were places you could live cheaply.
Yeah.
And they weren't nice, but they were cheap.
And they
now,
existed,
those
yeah.
same places are expensive and still not nice, or they are nicer and much more expensive. It's become almost impossible to live on a modest salary doing a thing you love that doesn't pay well. So if you're gonna do something that isn't, if you're not motivated by making loads and loads of money, then it's hard to live here. It's really hard. It's hard to live here. You're not living the way you want to be living. But then I would argue that as I'm not going to use the word artists, it's gross, but as like comedians, we have to accept responsibility for a lack of huge amounts of funds because we've chosen to do what we do. If I didn't have family here, I think I would have moved out. Not because I hate London, because I don't agree that it's shit and that there's no one for any of the stuff and there's nothing going on.
I like kicking off about things.
I know, I know, but I would have probably left because I would be able to live much, much better for a higher standard of living somewhere like Manchester, which, there's benefits to everything. I'm very zen.
You're totally right.
Really
Real Buddha
hard.
complex on Andrea today.
It is really, really, really hard to live here.
As a comedian, it's so much easier in Manchester because there's loads of gigs closer, the gigs pay more, and your costs are less.
When I graduated, I lived in Shoreditch for £400 a month.
Yeah,
£400 a month?
Yeah. I used to live around...
I live in Shoreditch now, and it's significantly higher than that.
Oh man, it was going up exponentially when I lived here. Like, because I used to live like around this area of southeast London, and it was by the standards of now so cheap. It was around that sort of price.
The prices have shot up in a way that is impossible for
and like
people with
Peckham is
modest
getting
living to afford.
gentrified. Peckham was like stabby when I lived here. Like when I lived in Peckham, it was like you knew estates not to go near, and now those are filled with like luxury flats, and it's
very, very
changed
hard.
a lot. And like buildings like we're in now, this used to be an abandoned warehouse where there'd be parties and shit. We were talking about it before, so it was more fun.
You used to call up a number. And then they tell you which warehouse to go to. You'd come to the warehouse.
You might have to climb over a fence to get in.
There'd be a bouncy castle covered in human shit, and you'd have a really, really good time in a place like this. Now this place is too expensive for us to walk near. It's
totally.
very, very, very.
I mean, this place is lovely. It's the Vauxhall Comedy Club Labs.
It is lovely.
I won't hear it be refuted.
No, this is some lovely gentrification. This is doing it right.
Essentially,
if it's got my face on it, I'm a big appreciator of gentrification.
It is hard for the people who serve the rich to live in the place that they work. So like if you're making coffee and maybe you want to do that and that's a great job for you, but you can't live where you work, there's something very, very wrong with that. Like they should have put a halt on it years ago. They should have done rent control years ago, and they didn't. And now we've got this weird pyramid that can't help but implode. I mean, people move out by their droves. People who didn't want to leave London move for the sake of their children. It's
and I think there's less reason to be here now as well, because like if you're in the arts, certainly, because like we can just produce things and put them on the internet now. We don't need to be where the industry is, because we can. It's everywhere.
But the thing is, it is my home. It never was yours. Yeah. It's my home, and it really hurts that I have to think about leaving my home, which I don't want to do. I really don't.
Right, but like with the arts aspect, like isn't the BBC making a significant choice to kind of take things outside of London, like Birmingham and Manchester? They've set up
Scotland as well.
Right. And is that what?
It's not having that much of a practical effect yet. Like all that happens is they bus loads of people up from London to go to their studios in Manchester. That's all that fucking happens now.
Sure.
And like things are slightly getting better, but there are a lot more media companies in the north just because they can afford to actually have premises there when they're starting up and stuff. Like so there is more of that going on, and it's not like. Yeah, I think like culturally speaking, I think it's a better place to be because people can afford to be skint there and like try things out. And like Manchester's not the cheapest city as well. Like it's comparatively to here.
Yeah. Well, like coming from Sydney in Australia, like Sydney's very similar to London prices. Like it's just an incredibly expensive place. So like I kind of come here and I'm like, oh yeah. This is like it's more. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm poorer than I've ever been. In the last year, I was just like, God damn. Like lucky I've got my fiance to support me and stuff.
I'm glad you said it so I didn't have to. It must be so difficult.
I paid a...
I left it way too late to marry rich, so
There's always time. But I was able to pay her back like through Free Fringe at Edinburgh. Because that's the one thing that I find that weird. Like there's a definite rigidity to British people where it's like, this is the way it's always been done and we're going to keep doing it this way forever because things were going quite well in the past.
No, totally. There is like this.
And that applies to the arts too. Like these people like, you've got to do this paid fringe model and then
there is a lot of that.
Lose money.
There is that sort of rigidity. Like there's a couple of things that I don't like about the general British character, and that is one of them. The sort of like there is sort of things like there's sort of an obsequiousness towards rules and authority. Yeah, I know words. Fucking get over it.
Fuck me, I don't know that one. That's above my pay grade.
But like it's just sort of like
I got it.
Yeah.
But like, we know you did.
Either to like historical things that have already happened. Like I can't remember who said this, but like they were like traditions just peer pressure from people who were dead, and I totally agree with that.
Or for whom it worked. Yeah. You know? Like there's nothing more frustrating than people going, when I was your age, I had a house. Well, fuck you, man.
Yeah, like the world was fucking different.
I spent the last sort of 15 years saving for a house. I can't get a house. I can't get a mortgage. It's exhausting. Yeah. Oh God, this is depressing. I suddenly like, is this supposed to be a comedy podcast? This is it's got really sad. Let's change.
But there is a solution. Move to the north.
Just get to the north.
No, because then you're there. Oh wait, no, you moved to Brighton.
Yeah, for a year.
Basically,
I'm moving back. I fucking hate it. Yeah. Like I don't hate it. Like well, you know, I love hyperbole. Like I love like you know. But,
yeah. I mean, okay, so you were in London, then you went back to Manchester. Is that where you went from? Like,
no, I moved back to Knaresborough, my hometown, for a bit. Then I lived in Leeds for a while. Then I moved to Manchester for a few years.
What about Leeds? Let's talk a little bit about Leeds, because that's an area that, you know, I think of the place I've been, Leeds has a good vibe to it.
Yeah, it's fun.
I don't know.
It's a really fun
I was
town.
Union Leeds. I was there for 3 years, and it was excellent.
It's a great place to be young. There's loads of parties everywhere.
So much fun.
Honestly, the party scene, I think, is second to none in this country. Like there are still warehouse raves constantly in Leeds. There's house parties that are amazing.
It was a great place to be a student. It was affordable. It was wonderful.
Yeah,
it's
honestly
best
like
times of my life.
But now, I don't particularly want to live there anymore. Like, because I love Leeds. It's great now if you're like an office worker and you want like a corporate career. There's all that going on at Leeds. But like,
what is it? A financial hub? Now?
It is becoming a bit more like that.
I think it's become more so than it was.
Yeah.
Is that because like even London?
I was there recently. I came back from Manchester. I was staying in Leeds, and I came out on a Saturday night, and it was a bit much. I was walking from the station to my friend's house, and it was pandemonium.
Oh, it is carnage, Leeds City Centre on a weekend.
More so than I'd ever seen when I was
like
there.
Leeds fucking parties. I mean, I absolutely love Leeds as a city, but like in terms of being a comedian there, there's just not the same scene there is in Manchester. There's just not as many comedians. There's no gigs. You know, it's just not
right. You can't just kind of sustain yourself working locally during the week and then going
you can
on the
weekend.
weekend.
But you just got to travel everywhere, and that's fine. Like it's a good location.
But it does get tiring, because like that's the one thing coming here. Everyone's like, oh, the UK is great because you can travel around all the time, and obviously being an Australian, I'm like, that It's like amazing, like the fact that you can like go anywhere around the UK and then like
you
pop
could get
into
somewhere
Europe
in an hour.
Yeah, just like pop to Europe, like, you know, shorter than getting Sydney to Melbourne. You know what I mean? But yeah, if you are moving around all the time, even if it's short distances, it is fucking draining.
Mate, it's
It
worse
really is.
living in Brighton. That's why I can't stand living in Brighton, man. Everywhere's 3 hours from Brighton. Everywhere. Like, it's just too far from every fucking place. Whereas Manchester, within an hour of the city centre, there are 17 million people.
I am starting to feel like you are being sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce.
No, I'll be honest, I just fucking miss it. I've been down in the south for like half a year now, and I can't wait to move back. Like, I honestly can't.
See,
Like,
the one thing with like the south and north in the UK, like you guys love to bang on about it. I find it very bizarre because, like, for me, it's not the south and the north. There's just London.
Actually, we say north and south. What the fuck is wrong with you? I feel like you've learned nothing. Like, it's the north-south divide. It's not the south-north divide. Like, for fuck's sake,
Are you
man.
fucking doing my accent?
Yeah, man.
south-north divide,
I'm from Australia. It's the south-north divide.
Oh, fuck, Dan, where's a croc? Like, no, just, yeah. There's just London and everywhere else. Like, I'm sorry, there's no south. There's no north-south. There's
Did you
just
see what just
London
happened to
and
Rob's
everywhere
face
else.
when you said that?
Yeah, because
My God.
because it's important to him that there's the south and the north, but there isn't.
there really,
So
really
there's
is.
no north and there's no south.
There's
Right,
just
so
London.
Sussex isn't full of privilege. Like, Surrey isn't full of rich cunts.
But, like-
Surrey's interesting because it's full of rich people and privileged people, but it's also very there's a whole BNP section of Surrey that is quite full on.
Yeah.
And I don't know this for a fact, obviously, but I'm guessing that BNP Surrey is not privileged Surrey. I don't think there's too much.
I think you can be
crossover
rich
in
and
that, then-
racist.
Well,
Of course you
sure.
can. But it's
I'm
like,
not saying you can't, but
it's like the very top, though. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like the very top of the rich is like the racist one, where it's just like, what? None of these are people.
Yeah.
These are just numbers.
I don't know the demographics of Surrey well enough to comment. To be fair, it's all the south to me. Like, it is genuinely like once you go south of Sheffield, I'm
Like-
who knows?
But this is the thing, like south. I just really think like London is just seems to be like very much its own unique thing because like it's just so many different people, like so cosmopolitan, like so multicultural, and then like as soon as you start going out, it just gets like less and less and less, and like. Yeah, like, sure, the north, you have, like, your fucking gravy, but, like, other than that, who
Okay,
gives a shit?
don't say that like it's not important.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
the best
not.
thing that
It's a
happened to me in
condiment.
Leeds was
It's
learning
a
about gravy.
condiment.
I will get violent.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm not from the north, but chips, gravy, and cheese is the best thing that's ever happened to anyone.
I go cheesy chips and curry.
Oh,
That is acceptable, to be fair. If
Not
you've got
really.
a violently orange curry sauce, I will accept it.
no,
but I'm a gravy man.
I won't. I'm a gravy person. Do you
Right.
know what? On the BBC website at the moment, there is a recipe for a Yorkshire pudding wrap. It's the most amazingly.
There's a place in
I
York
think-
that started doing
Yes.
them and it went
Good
viral.
God, it's amazing.
Yeah, they're banging.
I had one of
Yeah.
them in New York because I like to experience proper British culture.
But like, there is a cultural and also economic divide between the north and the south, and it's not just London. Like, it is more than that. If you look at the amount that is spent by government on infrastructure in the north and south, there is a clear dividing line in the middle of the country where they stop fucking bothering. Honestly, like, it's just like this is why the north is like we have this attitude. We feel abandoned. We feel like all the resources get funneled towards the south, and that's why we get fucking angry about it. It's
Right.
like no money spent on it.
So
on
even the
north.
other counties, like as you kind of go west,
Yeah,
in the
like
south,
even that has a lot more like it just has a lot more like economic advantages. There is a lot more money spent there. Like it's just there is that divide.
Why is that? Like,
Because no one gives a fuck about the north.
But why does no one give a fuck about the north? This is
Because
the
all the
thing.
power is in the south. Like, because all
But aren't you guys elected from all around the country? So it's like you got your constituent from everywhere.
Yeah, but like
your member
people in
from
the
everywhere.
north tend to vote for I don't know. In the past, right? Basically, I think like what it is like people in the north tend to be poorer. So people like who are, and in general, we're a small C conservative country. I think so. That's, in general, what tends to win elections in Britain is the Tories most of the time. Like the north is mainly more Labour. I don't really know why they get abandoned when it goes to like Labour. Like we still don't get as much. I don't really know. I can't really answer that. I just know it's fucking
I'm
true.
keeping very silent on this one. I don't really. I couldn't intelligently comment.
Yeah,
but I would say that because part of me wants to sort of talk about closing of the mines. I think that had a big effect.
It did.
But I don't know enough about it to actually talk about it.
It did.
Sure.
But there is, you're right on everything you've said in terms of like
Yeah.
the way the north has been abandoned. So when I first started doing stand-up comedy, I was absolutely terrified with my accent to go north.
Yeah.
And I soon realised that while there is that kind of cultural divide, individual people and audiences are very accepting of who you are if you're funny.
Yeah, totally.
And it's fine. So
Totally.
I can go up there and I will never change my accent.
Yeah.
I will never do anything like that. I think it's inauthentic. So I would just be who I am, which is who I am.
Yeah.
And I do nicely in Manchester. I have
Yeah,
a nice time
totally.
there. I love the North. I love Scotland. And
They're great places to gig.
And I don't get shit on by audiences because of my accent.
No,
If
you won't.
audiences hate me, it's because I'm not funny,
Yeah.
not because I'm from the posh South. But I honestly, for my whole life, I just assumed
Yeah.
that. But then, of course, going to uni in Leeds, we got hated because we were students,
Yeah.
which is fair. But we also made loads of local friends. Like, it's not,
Yeah.
it's not a prescriptive idea, but the
No.
idea is not without merit as well.
But like on the Minds thing, right? I think that's a really interesting example.
Yeah,
of
you
what I'm
take
talking
over.
about. I will. Right.
I certainly couldn't talk about
Yeah,
it.
but like I'm not from like a mining area particularly, but I think what happened with the shutting, like Thatcher shut all the mines in the 80s basically. And there was a big like do you know about the miners' strike at all?
No.
Right, okay, I'll teach you a bit of British history. Right.
Do it.
So in the 80s, basically, there was a big coal mining. Coal mining was a huge industry, mainly in the north and in Wales and in working class areas. And all the mines got shut down, basically, because they were being subsidised by the government and they were inefficient and coal isn't a great fuel for the future. I actually agree the mines should have been shut down, right?
Okay, is that a controversial
It
thing
is,
for a
but
northerner
there
to
is
say?
there is a massive but that needs to be added onto that, because there was strikes for years and like a load of people were impoverished and the government deliberately starved people basically, and it was horrific, and like people were beaten in protest. Yeah, genuinely.
What do you mean deliberately starved?
So like they
their
were
own
on strike.
people?
So Thatcher bought more coal from Europe in order to undercut them basically and like keep them keep
Wow.
them starving.
It's why
it's horrific. It's a
no
horrific
one
part of history.
in
like,
that area of the world would ever have voted Thatcher because
Yes.
what she did.
That's why we fucking hate her.
Yeah.
But what my point is, I think, yeah, obviously, like coal mines aren't the future. At some point, they were going to have to be replaced. But what happened was they were shut down and nothing was replaced. Right? Nothing happened instead. There was no re-education. There was no investment in new jobs.
And there was
people
no-
were just
there
left
was
to
no-
rot.
yeah,
and now
people
there's
were
just
left to
empty
rot.
towns with no jobs everywhere. If you go to like places like in the around the northwest and in Yorkshire and in Wales, there are just these towns where there are no jobs, and like you can't even work in shops because no one has money to spend in the fucking shops. There's
And
just
of course
nothing there.
Then that's where the army goes recruiting. And
Exactly.
It's kind of a very
Exactly.
fucked up system.
So like,
Right.
there's just all these towns that had their livelihood ripped away from them and nothing put in their place. Like the mine should have shut down, but it should have been like, why
There
aren't
should
in
have
these
been
towns?
phases that had respect for humanity.
Why aren't we building
And
like fucking wind turbines in these towns? Why aren't we doing like building solar panels in these towns? Why aren't modern manufacturing jobs going there? Like this is my point. Sorry, this isn't very funny. I've just got on my soapbox.
I don't. Yeah, like it's not funny, but you're right.
No, but this doesn't always have to be funny. I got faith that we'll bring it back. Sometimes I like to learn stuff. That's
Well,
why I
yeah,
do
that's
this,
cool, but
because
what,
I
like,
don't know this stuff. Because I
think
know
of your
people hate
listener.
Thatcher, but like
This is why.
no,
yeah.
but the people
Also,
listen
they're
to
covering
this.
up the paedophile scandals. Like she did cover up a lot of nonsense.
And the milk.
And the milk, she stole milk off people. I was mainly annoyed about the pedos, to be honest with you. But you know,
I was
you
furious.
go
I
for
was
the milk.
absolutely furious that I got made to drink milk as a child. Because it was never cold. It was never cold. They'd hand you this warm milk in the morning, force it down
All
you.
right, all right. What the fuck are you talking about? Just like Margaret Thatcher's being like, drink the milk, you fucking.
Everyone tries to make children drink milk. Some
We used to
people
get
don't
free
want to drink
milk at school, right?
That sounds very good.
Yeah, but then Thatcher took it away. So she was called
Thatcher took your milk.
Thatcher Milk Snatcher. Is one of the things. Genuinely, that's yeah.
I like that
We had
every.
really different childhoods. 'Cause we continued to get the milk. It was all included in the school
She's
fees,
drinking
guys.
your milk.
Double cream.
And I didn't even want it. Oh, disgusting.
I like that every English complaint has been put to a tune.
We love a song. We love a chant.
We
Yeah.
love a chant because it sort of takes the sting out, and sometimes you need to have
But
the sting taken out.
This
you
is
know?
this is the thing that I find impressive about chanting. Like it's completely beyond class. Like there's like poor motherfuckers chant, rich motherfuckers chant. Everybody chants.
What are some rich chants though? What are
No,
rich
just like
chants?
football. You can be like the poshest
Don't-
cunt ever. But
don't
they-
even get me started about football chants.
Yeah, but you don't traditionally.
Oh
get
yeah,
posh
because
people
they're
there.
super anti-Semitic.
don't-
Yay.
no, if we're saying Yid Army, it's fine. If you're saying it, it's not fine.
Yeah,
okay?
I think that's gross.
What?
I have
How-
no part of that.
How did that Yid Army thing work? Like, how did that even?
Look, I don't know.
Is Tottenham like a typically Jewish?
It
team?
traditionally
Yeah,
had a
Tottenham
largely
is a very
Jewish fan base,
team,
but so did Leeds United. So did a lot of clubs, and they sort
because
of.
Leeds is one of the Jewish areas.
Exactly,
Leeds,
yeah. There's a lot of Jewish history involved in the club at Leeds, and like we've had like anti-Semitic shit in the past from other fan bases, but like I think with Spurs, like they were trying to reclaim it, and like teams in like I think it's Feyenoord who are like the Jewish team in Holland. They've done the same thing,
right?
But what's happened now is a load of people who don't have that cultural history have reclaimed a thing that doesn't belong to them, and it's just a bit.
It's look, I'm not a football person, but if you hear other people who are not you singing Yid Army at you, it does not feel good.
Yeah, I bet.
At all.
I bet.
But if if it's a bunch of your Jewish friends, but then, like I say, I don't go to football, but I don't know that a lot of the Jewish friends I have who go to football singing Yid Army. It's like, we already know, man.
Yeah, they only would if they were Spurs fans as well.
Well,
like,
sure, but also, like, I don't know if you're a Spurs fan, do you sing real loud? Like, it's...
It is.
I don't. Yeah, like it's not a thing that you wanna hear. It does not make you feel safe.
No,
and it's awful.
Yeah, I think if you changed it for any other racial epithet, people would be a lot more reticent to shout it.
I could talk for hours on that particular subject. Yeah, I think that's very true. I think people feel weirdly comfortable saying things to some groups and not to others,
totally,
depending on what trouble they think they're going to get into.
I would say that it was a response to like mainly Chelsea fans. Like I have been to Chelsea.
Fans.
I have been to Chelsea games and seen them Zeke-Eiling, and like it is grim. And this isn't everyone, and like obviously it's a minority, but it's a much more vocal and larger minority at Chelsea than I've ever seen anywhere else. And I've been to a lot of football clubs, been to a lot of matches. They're the worst. And like, come at me, Chelsea fans.
Really?
Fucking racist cunts.
Don't come at me if you're Zeke-Eiling. I don't like it, man. It's weird. I don't like it at all.
Just with the Tottenham bit, were they doing it in order to kind of be like, hey, we do have this Jewish history in our club and we're trying to show pride in that? Was like the intention...
The intention...
So I don't know the answer to that. Maybe
the intention is that. The intention is there because they had a traditionally Jewish history. They were called anti-Semitic things and they've tried to reclaim it. The problem is...
It's kind of like our N-word, but it didn't work in the same way. Because we don't call each other it. It's weird.
And most Tottenham fans aren't Jewish.
Yeah.
That's the problem with it, isn't it?
Yeah, it has a large contingent, like most places, has a large Jewish contingent, but it's nowhere near as big as the anti-Semites think it is.
Yeah, sure. So it is, it's kind of coming from a good place, but I think it's very, very misguided.
It's not coming from a good place when it's reclaimed back.
I think they're trying to. Anyway, a lot of people think they're doing something, but I
then a lot of people think they're doing something and they're wrong, and they should just not do it.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Just that thing, like, have they
like touching knees when you're not allowed to touch knees, guys.
Muggleton.
Yeah, muggles.
I mean, I want to make this very clear. We're sitting here so the video can be framed properly.
It's like, let's get closer. I want to touch knees, and I was just like, say that into the microphone, bitch.
All right. I think a lot of people have listened to a lot of episodes of this podcast. Would I ever say, let's touch knees? Like, as a desire, just let's touch knees.
It's just, it's just who he is. And I don't think you should be ashamed.
I mean, I will never be ashamed. As a straight white man, I feel good. All the time. Except on Twitter when I feel bad. Very bad.
Good.
I feel naughty on Twitter. That got weird. Anyway, so... You said you got a scholarship to a grammar school.
No, I was sort of offered one.
And you didn't go?
I didn't go. So it's a private school, like Leeds Boys School, something like that it's called. I was sort of like, when I was like...
as a youth, as a boy.
10, 11, something like that. They sort of...
and a grammar school in this country...
I don't know.
Same sex?
No, grammar schools
boarding,
are slightly different.
No.
But like, I think it's just called Leeds Grammar. I might be wrong. I'm ADHD, I forget things.
Public is private, private is private, grammar is private, but sometimes
grammar
public.
Sometimes isn't
and
private.
And state is public.
Gotcha.
Right. But yeah, so basically it was like a fee paid school, but I sort of got offered a scholarship and I just turned it down. I didn't want to do it. Like I just saw all those lads with like their little straw boater and like their little...
My school had boaters. They're
I just wasn't having any of that.
My school did not have boaters. That's really weird. We actually got to choose what we wanted to wear within the uniform. So we had the option. It was a feminist high school.
Right.
And we had the option,
feminist high school?
Very much so. Very feminist all-girls school. And we had the option of trousers or skirts.
Nice.
Look at
which
you.
was quite unusual at the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is unusual.
Yeah, it is
'Cause
unusual.
Usually it's like, it's just a dress, right? Pretty much dress or skirt.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Girls
thinking
wore
like private
kilts at
schools
my
in Australia.
secondary school.
Dear God.
Yeah.
Kilts.
Yeah, and they were like... there was-
Cultural appropriation.
well, like, it was King James's my school, so he was Scottish.
Yeah, he
so,
was Scottish, so
it
it's
was
fine.
named after him.
Okay,
But,
I
like,
don't know about your history.
The kilts were different colours depending on which year you were in. So, like, years 7 and 8 had one colour, and then, like, 9, 10, and 11 had one. So, basically, there was a
Yeah.
colour coding system, so you could be like, you could find exactly which colour when girls became legal. It's really creepy. Really creepy.
Which
I
was?
don't-
I mean, I don't think that was the purpose
I don't
of
know
the
how
That
to
was
kilts.
very
respond
much
to
how
that.
it was used.
I mean,
So what, like purple?
No, like, when
purple
they're
was
in a white
fine,
kilt,
but
you're
red
fine.
wasn't?
Green is borderline. Red, stay the fuck away.
Oh, so it's like a traffic
Oh,
light.
so they traffic
It really
lights
was
them.
traffic light. Yeah.
That's
that
messed
was
up, man.
the original traffic light party.
And did boys have different colour ties?
Ties, yeah, we did. Yeah,
To
yeah.
show how fucked up they were. Like, that's horrible.
Rob's was red.
My
constantly
school
red.
uniform was brown the entire way through. It was very depressing. Yeah.
That's
Every
ugh.
day was a brown day.
Every
there
day
we
was
go.
a brown day.
Callbacks.
Producer Mooch crushed it yet again. Yeah, my school we had the change of ties throughout. Like it was like the middle school one and then like the high school one and then the year 12 one. Just like you'd have a little change in the color, but it was all green and white. Green and white, green and white.
That's
We
why
are
we're bottle
dynamite.
green blazer.
Yeah, you had that.
Oh
It's
yeah,
not good.
no, ours was quite like if you wanted to wear the blazer, you could. You didn't have to wear the blazer. You were supposed to wear proper shoes, but I went to my headmistress, so I didn't want to wear them. I wanted to wear trainers, and I made her like a presentation of why I should be allowed to wear trainers. and she said that she loved the presentation, and that I was allowed to wear trainers, but that I had to explain how I'd come to wear trainers, and no one else was allowed to wear trainers. And if I could handle that kind of bullying, then I was allowed to do it. So I did, and everyone was like, "Why do you get to wear trainers?" I was like, "A presentation." I was not popular at all. But I was comfortable as hell.
That would have resulted in a severe kicking at my school, yes.
Totally.
That is
No,
the
it was
most like
on brand.
no, that also absolutely.
It fucking makes sense.
I was quite friendly with my headmistress. I used to go in for cups of tea because I quite liked.
Yeah, fair.
That is so fucking British.
Yeah. Well, no, she was
I
just.
just had a cuppa with the
Do you know
headmistress.
what it was?
Yeah.
She was like a 6'5" woman, and I was like a 6' teenager, and I just liked her. And I just, she wasn't cool. She was like this old Victorian lady, but she had this booming voice, and she liked it when you sort of were like, well, I don't want to do what I'm told to do, but if you give a good reason, then you can do whatever the hell you want. So I'd always
my
just
school
find a
was
good
not
reason.
like that.
My school was not like that, and mine was the fancy one also. It was like
Yeah, I'm still reeling that you had a school. Adorable.
Oh,
So
zing!
cute. In your little backwater town. It's so lovely.
a little backwater town of Sydney, Australia.
See, we can be
Top-
racist too.
Today we're
10.
going to learn ute repairs.
Like
Top
which
10.
lakes you should jump in and which you shouldn't.
Top 10 most livable cities in the world for like the past decade. Go fuck yourself.
So
There's
why
no
you here?
crime. There's no crime. There's just none. We just
Oh, got it out of your systems, didn't
I was
you?
about to say, yeah, back in the day.
I've been on parole for 200 years.
Yeah, there's an entire city on an ankle tag.
Yeah, with a little opera house.
Yeah. But you see, like, my school wasn't bad. This is the thing. Like, I went to like a relatively decent state school. Like, it just was a state school, and you know, it was like, but it's a relatively ambitious one. To be fair, they were like, you know, they would try and make you be good, but like they just didn't.
ambitious
That's such a
state
vague
school.
statement.
Well, yeah,
they
they
try and make you be
They
good.
sort of vaguely encouraged you to do well, but like they didn't have the same resources. At,
My
like,
school
private schools.
expelled you if you were getting below B.
Oh fucking hell! If you were getting a B, you were killing it in my school. Like, no,
If you were sort of averaging B's instead of A's, they would call your parents in and talk about whether you were taking your education seriously.
oh wow.
How many people were in your year at your school?
100?
100? That's pretty small. We were like 200. What about you?
My school was like the biggest in Yorkshire, so I think there was about like 150 in a year, something like that. 150,
Right.
200. I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest. But it was quite a big school.
Did any other comedians come out of that school?
No, out of my school. No, I went to uni at Goldsmith with Ian Smith. Who's also from Yorkshire.
Yorkshire, hey!
Yeah,
He's
but
from
like,
Goole.
no one has you know, again, like I love Knaresborough and I don't want to shit on it constantly, but like the most famous person from Knaresborough
I don't know,
is
if Knaresborough was a woman, right now, you have shit on it constantly.
Yeah,
I would feel really...
she'd be wanting me hard.
Yeah. I'd be so
Negged her
furious
up.
if I were Knaresborough.
Negging your hometown, running that
Such a
sweet
negger.
game.
Nah, if anyone else,
Just spell that out for anybody not listening closely.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
No, that's...
Maybe cut that out.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, what I've forgotten what I was fucking talking about.
I mean,
now.
you
I've
should
been
do,
blown right
because
off
that
topic.
was a fucking left turn.
That really was.
Or a right turn if you're going political.
But no,
yeah.
the most famous person from my hometown is the keyboard player from Simply Red, right?
What's Simply Red?
What's
Simply
Simply Red?
Mick Hucknall? Come on, mate.
No, this is the thing where you guys are like, how could you easily?
that's fair.
Haven't
That
heard
is
of
fair.
Mick Hucknall.
Cause I love the thought coming
Oh, I know
home
that,
to you. Yeah, that's Mick Hucknall, his keyboard player from my hometown. Sorry, I'm standing on your
So
cable.
jealous, he's ruining my mind.
Just touch her
Sorry.
knees like a normal person.
Yeah, if you want to fuck me off, just touch me on the knee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, there's not a lot of cultural output.
Came out
from
of
my town.
Knaresborough.
I'm trying to think of the most famous person to come out of Harrow. There's probably loads.
Probably
was your school
shit
Harrow?
loads.
No, my school.
I thought Harrow was a boys' one.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
But, like,
no,
just
my
the
school was in
region.
Edgware, but it was
Ah.
the most famous person from my school is probably Esther Ranson
That's pretty famous.
or Stevie Smith, the poet. I guess she's or
No,
Who's-
Esther Ranson's way more
Who's
famous.
Esther Ranson is a horrific name. Like, who's that?
Yeah, she's
She's
also
a-
got a questionable history. She knows some shit. She
Yeah.
knows some shit.
Rob
It's,
pointing viciously at the camera there
Nah,
for
he's
those
not.
listening.
He's actually really not wrong. But I don't want to.
She's
I don't wanna,
friends with a lot of very questionable people.
She was. Let's just say she was.
What is she, like a Nazi? What are we talking about
No,
here?
just all of her mates are pedos. Like, all of them.
Oh.
It's
She's
difficult.
like Bubbles the monkey. No.
That is excellent. Because literally he only had one friend. That's very good.
Thank you for explaining the
No,
joke.
you're welcome. You're so welcome for your one
But
listener.
not-
I am.
At
She
best,
was,
she is
she
very
was-
unobservant. I would say that about her.
That's
At her
see, that's
best,
the
she is
thing.
unobservant.
At the absolute best, you could say she did not notice anything while working at the BBC during the 70s and early 80s.
Because that was the prime nonce era
Yeah,
of the BBC.
we really got through it then. Yeah. That was back when, genuinely in Britain in like the 70s and 80s, being a pedo was seen as a bit of a foible. It was like, oh, don't. It was genuinely like when I was growing up, like in the 90s even, like it was like, oh, don't kick your ball in over that fence. Hey,
No,
he'll
but
get you. It was just seen as like a
We
cheeky
didn't
character
have
trait.
that. We always had like, if you're naughty, you won't be able to go over to so-and-so's house. And what I've understood from you guys is if you're naughty, the man in the van will come and get you. That's like a Northern Scottish
A
thing.
man in the van did try and get me once. A guy got out of a van on my estate where I was
This
playing.
has taken a turn.
I didn't get me. But I was playing Kirby with my mate. Do you know this game?
Yeah, no, Kirby's Dream World. No, the Game Boy game?
No. Kirby's a game where you stand with a football and you throw it at the curb you stand on the road and you throw
You try
the
and get
ball.
it in the
You
corner.
try and bounce it off the flat bit of the curb so it comes back to you. So you throw it like that and try and get it back and catch
Oh,
it.
like practicing throw-ins. Kind of.
No.
No, the
Look, I'm
point
okay
is
with
if you
being
miss,
wrong,
you
I
can
just-
break a window and there's
So
an
you
element of
basically,
danger.
two of you stand at the other side of the street. And the game is to try and get the ball to bounce back off the flat bit of the curb and come back to you. And if
Yeah.
you miss that, it goes to the other person. You just take turns. Anyway, this isn't the important thing.
You sure Kirby's not the important bit?
All right, if you want more explanation on Kirby, but yeah, so we're playing that.
No, just talk about the man in the van. Obviously,
is
everybody
it.
here is like, shut the fuck up, Dan. There's a
Yeah.
man in a van.
Get to the good stuff.
Guy pulled up like this, and like honestly, if you were gonna draw
Your likability is dropping by the minute on this podcast.
That's the point.
like if you were gonna draw a pedo, this guy would be bang on. I mean, he wasn't the pedo we knew around my estate. There was a guy called Johnny Three Socks who lived.
Wow.
One of them's a puppet.
Right, no, the reason
Two on his feet, one in his pocket as a souvenir.
No, he had a weird gimpy hand that looked like a foot. Like he had a hand that looked like a foot, so we called him Johnny Three Socks, right?
You say
That
that,
is-
like there's a logical line from one to the other. I don't get that at all.
Because he would have to
Because
wear
he-
three
with
socks
socks,
because he's got like
his
another
hair
foot
looks like
on
a
his
foot.
hand.
Oh right, I
Yeah.
thought gloves. No, you're right.
You went,
Yeah.
Of course, you're
you
right.
went to a better school. You shouldn't get that.
So anyway,
But no, can we just say for a second there, I really felt sorry for Johnny Three Socks.
No, he
But then I
wasn't-
remembered he was a pedophile.
yeah,
I'm
he used to
like,
stand outside the school and watch the girls play tennis. It wasn't okay. Like
You had a tennis court in your school?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, because we were quite rural, so there was like fields
Hey,
and stuff.
My likability may be dropping, but his fucking credibility is dropping. You had tennis courts.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah,
did,
but it was
obviously.
hard tennis. We played with a squash ball. It was
Just the
fucking
one,
wild.
did you? Oh, never
Yeah, it was just
mind.
like no, it just had like some concrete bit with tennis bit painted on.
Oh,
Like, you know.
concrete.
Yeah.
That's not a tennis court.
Well, that's what we thought it
That's
was.
ambitious asphalt.
No, we
That's
had
what
like
that
big
is.
fields and stuff. Like it's like we're in North Yorkshire. It's like there's space. Like it's not like crammed in like a city. There's like there was just fields and that. Like, so we had like big playing fields out
And
the
this
back.
guy would just drive his van up and just stand.
He would just he didn't. Johnny Three Socks couldn't drive. How's he going to do the gears?
Well, do you remember those cars that used to have just three?
Can you?
Just three wheels.
Robin Reliant.
Yeah. You've driven one of those.
What the fuck is a Robin Reliant?
You know what Del Boy drove in Only Fools and
anymore,
Horses?
do you?
I don't know. Only Fools and Horses.
Fucking hell.
Hey, get out of our country.
David Jason,
okay?
he's another
I
one.
have to in a
Yeah.
couple of months. What?
Oh no, I don't want to repeat.
No, you need to be careful.
Yeah,
what you're
I do.
saying,
I know.
because that has been not proven.
No, it has not been proven, but you know,
But it is
Google
funny.
it.
You
Yeah.
get me in trouble for...
No, maybe
I'll get
cut
me
all-
in trouble.
Maybe cut all of that out. That's no good.
I don't give a shit. Like fucking, like Google it. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Google David Jason. Google him. Anyway.
Yeah, he's right about that.
I'll check with my legal team.
You might want
goes
to
a
cut
lot.
all that out.
Anyone is, no, the thing is, anyone is welcome to sue me. I've got nothing to sue me for. Like, fucking come at me. Couldn't give a shit. But anyway, this isn't the point. So, I'm
So,
playing
like-
Kirby.
And Johnny Three Socks is just there.
Johnny
Why
Three
not?
Socks.
It was
Three
a different
Socks.
one. I'd never seen this guy
sorry.
before.
This is Johnny Two Socks.
He got out of his car and he came over to us and he was like, "Oh, nice ball." Right, was his opening. Weird. And then he was like,
heard
"It's a good ball.
worse.
Do you want?" But like his gambit, right, was
You're
like,
such a princess.
yeah, like this guy's gambit was he was like, "Oh, do you want a net for your ball?" Like he was like, "I've got a net. I make nets. Do you want to come to my house and get a net?" But like we were like, me and my mate were like, we're off like, you know, the thing is like, I'm from a really like nice town, but I'm from the rough estate on the nice town. So I'm not from like the East End of Glasgow, but I was like one of the poor kids in the nice town, basically.
Sure.
So we were street smart enough to tell him to fuck off. Like we were like, "Fuck off, you weird nonce." But we had to like talk to the police and all this, and like that's like the whole
Right.
thing. And yeah, he was genuinely like, apparently, yeah, he was going around trying to get kids to get in his van. So
Wait, did he use
We,
nets for everybody? Because
I don't know. It was like, you know, it
I
wasn't
like to
that
think he
tempting.
tailored it
Yeah.
for different
It's
kids.
like, I'm
It's like,
not-
what do you think he's into? Nets.
Yeah, I didn't need to store my ball that well. I was like fucking 9. I didn't give a shit about having a carry
If
bag.
it's been in a dog's mouth, it doesn't need storage. Do you know what I mean? That's what all my tennis balls have been taken from the park.
Yeah, and that's why I can't store these nuts.
We used to see
What a
my
low
school
point.
was right. My school was right next to a park, and the park was full of flashers because they knew there was a girls' school right next to it.
Right.
And so we had lessons on what to do if you got flashed. And
Can you break that down because it happens to me all the time.
So,
I've never known how to react.
Do you know what a flash
Usually I give them a golf clap.
This is
Well,
useful
see,
for me
that's-
to know the enemy's strategy. So.
is? So I don't know that I think it was the right strategy, but we got taught that if someone were to flash you, and obviously it wasn't an if, it was a when, and we all got flashed 100%.
Really? You
yeah,
got
if you
flashed?
wa- yeah.
How many times?
A couple of times.
Okay.
It was, so they,
the analog dick pic.
Yeah, exactly. And the strategy that they gave us was to point and laugh and go, "Is that all you've got?"
What? That is.
Now-
That's
that
the worst
sounds like
advice.
the
That's what they
worst.
want.
To
Yeah.
cock shame someone.
it's
No,
a-
but that's
well-
what they're into.
Well, it was a very strange thing because for me it would have been.
Is
I
that
think-
all you've got?
Is that
No,
all
I
you've
got plenty more as he pins you down.
Exactly,
Like, what the fuck is that?
Flashes aren't traditionally violent, but I
But they're
don't
into the
think
humiliation
it
and
was safe
stuff.
to tell 12-year-olds to say that to
No.
grown men. So what I think
sounds
they
terrible.
probably should have done is just say, just run away
Yeah.
as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They told us
Todd to sass them.
to like shame and sass them, and it was. I mean, like that's what we did. Like that's
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
did. I think it might be why I am the way I am.
Is that how you've responded to every penis
Yeah,
since?
it's just like, is that all you've got? Sorry, I really like you. I don't know why I'm like this.
Is that all you've got? No, you've got an excellent personality. I respect your creativity.
and great cheekbones. And, you know. But yeah,
so
ultimately,
bizarre.
it's probably
Yeah.
why why many of my relationships have ended now because of my constant need to penis shame. God, that's school.
I don't think we ever got. I'm trying to remember if we ever got a strategy. Like the boys' schools get strategies
No, you
on
don't
anything.
like, nah, like,
I think that there's a very, very big difference between how young boys are brought up to deal with predators, in that they don't know that they exist a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And young girls, it's not that we know they exist so unbelievably early. Like even without being told, we know they exist. Whereas you guys might have to be told there are men
Yeah.
who actually like little boys. We don't need to be told. Like some of this, I mean, Jesus, some of the stuff people say to you. Like, I was a really tall kid, so by the age of about 9, I was getting pervy comments. And that's
crazy.
That's
Yeah.
the reality of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
because in fairness to them, they thought I was 13. So, I mean, I don't mean to be a dick, right? They thought I was in double digits, so. I don't want to man shame every man. And I was fit. So at 13, I nearly had breasts. So.
Wow.
Yeah, don't touch my knees.
That is like, oh man, that double digits thing is like so funny, but just like so like, ugh, you know, just like because you can kind of. I know the kind of dude you're making fun of, and that's
kind of dude?
Gross ones.
Oh, so dude.
Dudes.
Yeah.
Dudes in
That,
general.
you know
There
what?
is only
That's-
degrees, isn't
So
it?
there are only degrees. It's weird because I never wanted to be the kind of feminist who's like, yeah, all men, and then not all men and all the rest of it. But ultimately, when you have had gross stuff said to you from an extremely young age, which I have, and which almost every woman I know, especially ones who looked older than they were, which I did, it's really difficult to not think that way, even 1% of the time, all the time.
Well, I
1% all the time. You know, like it's
Yeah.
it's a hard thing to unlearn when you have had inappropriate sexual interest from a very young age.
Well, I would say, as a man who has a lot of experience of other men, like it is all of us. We are all gross. No, just I think the difference between a good man and like a bad, shitty, creepy man.
Please tell me the difference.
Like I think my idea, like basically, we all
Bro,
have the
this
same.
is a trap.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
He just doesn't give a fuck.
Bingo.
Do you think he thinks that I don't? We get it.
Yeah. No, right. Basically, like there is a horrible, disgusting bleakness at the core of every man. The difference between a good man and a bad man is whether we act on it or we say the shit. That we have the instincts, all of us, but like good men, we squash it down.
But
I'd rather someone said it than I can work out the degree of which the grossness is
It's
grossness
what they
I'll
say, though.
accept.
There's a
Yeah,
limit
yeah, exactly. I don't want people
You
to
don't
like,
want me saying the things I think in my head. Like you don't want me doing that.
But like, are you saying that like women just don't have that? Like they're
No,
just
I
they're
don't know.
like
I can't speak
why
for women.
are you asking him?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
because he's the one saying it, and I was expecting you to jump in, which you did.
Oh, he just called me predictable. Well, guess what? No, there's no coffee left. Or I'm
Yeah, but no, just like you.
I'm sorry, are you asking me a question as a woman? I haven't heard it yet.
Sorry, on behalf of all Jewish women.
Thank you. Finally. What's the question?
But like your brain is just fucking sunshine, daisies, and child rearing. Like, come on, what?
No, it's not. End of conversation. Well, I know, but I mean, no, of course not. But I don't understand. I mean, there's a lot of. I'm very itchy. Is it like dusty in here?
yeah, probably.
I couldn't say because I haven't studied brains. I think that stereotypes and blanket statements are unhelpful.
But they're fun and
fun.
convenient
and you want
quicker.
me to do, and you want me to do that. I don't.
Yeah, because we got to wrap up.
and I will happily.
We have to. I know. It's a difficult one. Like I don't know what all women think. I know that I believe this world has been misogynistic and sexist for so long that young men are brought into a world where they can't help but react in a way like it's a difficult one, man. I don't know, like women love sex just as much as men. It's just I don't know that we think about it as much, but maybe we do. I don't know, man. I'm on antidepressants. I don't think about it at all. So, I'm like, even when I'm doing it, I literally am thinking about many other things, but that's a multitasking woman thing, I guess. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with stereotypes. You go for it.
I'm totally comfortable with stereotypes. Yeah.
Why
yeah.
aren't you comfortable? I want to go back to that. Why aren't you comfortable with stereotypes? Come on, we need them. We
Okay.
can't
There's
explain
no smoke without
everything.
fire. They don't apply to everyone, but like.
Look, they don't apply to everyone, but it can be really difficult because I have found that a lot of male behaviour has been the same since I was a very young age to now. But
Like Rob's been interrupting you the whole time?
no, he hasn't actually. That was you.
Been listening intently. Watch the tape.
So don't feel bad. I just called you a man for the first time. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
But it is all I've got.
Yeah. Now let's penis shame the entire room and get the fuck out of here. I need the loo. I think. What was the question?
Fuck knows. Oh, why aren't you comfortable with stereotypes?
Yeah.
Because I always describe myself as a reluctant heterosexual. I think I think that it was unfortunate that I looked older than I was. To be sexualized at such a young age kind of colors your view of the opposite sex pretty much forever. So my whole like sort of romantic history has been trying to unlearn and break down what I consider incredibly threatening behaviour. So to then add stereotypes of all men on top of that means I'll never ever be with anyone, and I don't want that.
Sure.
So that's why.
That's a fair point.
Thank
I'm
you.
like, yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, just like, fuck. I can say that without it being condescending. I know that my
Can you
voice...
try again then?
I don't know. Can you? Let's give it another go. He likes being bullied. That's why he invited us.
It's just my voice. My voice sounds condescending. I know this explanation also sounds condescending. All right, I know it's a problem for me. It's like I sound sarcastic most of the time.
Yeah, like people never take me seriously. Like people always think I'm taking the piss when even if I'm trying to be serious.
And I get the same thing because people think I'm really, really intelligent. End of sentence.
Yeah.
But no, there definitely is a thing with like middle class accents, though. I think
Yeah,
people
no,
assume you are
it
smart.
was like it was a joke, but it's true.
It's totally true,
Like,
and vice versa. Like people assume I am thick and not doing anything nuanced, even when I'm trying to do something.
my friend Angela, you know Angela Barnes?
Yeah,
she
I know,
says
love
that,
Barnesy.
yeah, Barnes is amazing. She says she has a working class accent, and she says the amount, and she's also got a degree in history and an infinite knowledge of all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, she's
particularly
like
the Cold War.
she's a massive nerd.
Yeah, massive nerd. And she says the amount of times people underestimate her is just overwhelming.
Yeah.
The amount of times I am overestimated because of my accent is about the same. Like I had this Canadian boyfriend once, and he's like, "Well, you like Shakespeare." I'm like, "When have you what?" I mean, I do, but that's not the point. Like, I had never once been seen reading or quoting or talking about Shakespeare, but my accent. Oh, you like Shakespeare?
I get the same thing with Kes.
Yeah, which you probably like because it's
I do like
brilliant.
Kes. It is great.
That's a film.
A film.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like,
About a young boy with his pet kestrel.
really?
It is a
That's
lovely
cool.
It's
film.
fantastic.
Most people look at me and assume I'm very outdoorsy and masculine. Okay.
I love how we're ending on a joke. That's so sweet.
Thank
Oh,
you.
well done.
I
Well
do
done,
that.
you.
I'm a comedian. I do most things with
Yeah,
jokes.
yeah,
So, but just the one thing I was going to ask. All right, Andrew just covered the mic to whisper something mean.
No, I just said I desperately need a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
sorry
We'll
about
wrap
it.
this thing up. One last thing. People putting on accents here. I think based on where people get educated, people change their accent quite regularly in this country. Is that just like a professional thing?
I find it abhorrent.
Yeah, I
But
do.
like, it becomes
I
their
think
accent
it's-
though. Like, I'm not saying like they change it like just for certain conversations, but like they just lean in.
Look,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not going to speak for anyone who wants to change their accent. I'm just saying for myself personally, I am middle class and I do speak sort of RP, and to change that would
What's
be
RP?
Received
Received
pronunciation.
pronunciation.
I learnt
And
that
to
last time,
change
didn't I?
that, to
Yeah.
change that would be an inauthentic way to express myself. And so if I'm like in a place that is full of working class accents, for example, Cockney accents, the idea that I would ever change to fit in is insane. It's insulting to them. It's insulting to me. But I've seen people do it. The girls at my school used to do it, and it's weird.
yeah, it's gross that way.
And you see through it in 2 seconds. And what's the point? Be yourself, and they either like you or they don't, and they might not, and that's okay too.
But it's it's gross
okay.
that way. But and like there's a lot of comedians pretending to be working class, and I fucking hate every one of them, and I fucking see you. But like,
I say it's so easy to see through. I don't see you.
Oh,
I have no idea who he's
I'll tell
talking
you a
about. He's
few
going to
after.
tell me after.
But no, but like it just makes me sad when I see it the other way. I understand it when working class people soften their accent because you do get judged
Well,
on it,
that's why I
especially
took back what I said when I said
Yeah.
it's abhorrent. I said I'm only speaking for me because
I
I
just
don't-
think it's sad, like when I see it, and like I get why people do it. Like if you've got a working class accent, you are genuinely judged in this country because accents have so much weight in this country and cultural, and like you can
They bleed into the class system, which is still very much
massively. And it's a huge part of it, and like especially if you're trying to work in like if you want to be like a top lawyer in London and you've not got the right accent, you're fucked. It's not going to happen. Like that's one of the things they judge you on.
I mean, things have changed in comedy, I would say, but probably not anywhere else.
And not enough, and
why-
like it's still a thing, and like it's still like.
Why pretend to be working class? Is that like, does it mean you can talk about things in a different way?
I think to
Does
try
it-
and be like cooler, to try and sort of hide your privilege, so it looks like you're
Right.
more authentic. Whilst being less, and like to be honest, I think like if you're like a comedian who is pretending to be working class, you are doing blackface. It is cultural blackface. It's the same shit. You're pretending to be an oppressed group, and I think it's fucking disgusting. And I
Yeah,
think
I couldn't agree
shame
more.
on you. Shame on you if you're doing that. It is like one of my biggest bugbears.
Yeah.
Like seeing people like what they always do is they always talk about the rough area they live in, even though they only live in that area because they wanted to make their uni experience more authentic. And and then they have a go at their area and just have a go at poor people and sneer at working class people through this veil of pretending they're one of them. And I think it's fucking disgusting, and I really hate it.
Later on, when you're not listening, we will get examples.
Oh, many examples. I'm so tempted to say them now, but I'm not gonna.
Don't do it.
I'm not gonna.
Don't do it. All right, last question. Last question. I know. I'm getting the pee leg shake because our
Jesus
knees
Christ.
are still touching.
Yeah.
If you could live anywhere else if you had to live somewhere else in the UK, you're currently living in Brighton.
Yeah.
You live London. Where would you live if you had to live somewhere else? Anywhere in the UK?
I could live in Brighton. I could live in Manchester.
Okay, one of those two?
Yeah, I'm a city person. I'd have to live in a city, but I wouldn't mind living by the sea. And as much as Brighton is full of hippies, I could live with that, I think.
It's all right. Like, my main problem with Brighton is the drinking water. It's fucking horrible. The travel is
Do you know what? The
awful
water's
as a
so
comedian.
much. But I could live in Edinburgh because the
Yeah,
water. I know.
Edinburgh's great.
Yeah.
Edinburgh's an amazing city.
Edinburgh's
It's
beautiful,
not
and the
practical
water
as
is
a
incredible.
comedian.
No.
Like, I think the best place to be a comedian in the country is Manchester, and I'm moving back there because of that. Like,
Okay, but like, just if you take comedy out the picture, pure lifestyle.
pure
Manchester's
lifestyle.
pretty cool. Manchester's
is a cool
city.
town. I think if you took comedy completely out of the equation,
Bristol's pretty great as well.
Bristol's cool. I think I would probably go Edinburgh if I could. If there was no other things, like Edinburgh's such a beautiful city and it's really cool and I love it. So like, if there was nothing else, like if I didn't have to travel for work, I think probably Edinburgh. But yeah, like I'm moving back to Manchester in the new year, so I guess that answers the question, doesn't it?
I'm staying in London, living in a hovel.
Forever. I will die in this hovel.
No, ideally, I'm going to go to California. Ooh. I'm planning a little trip to tout my wares and see if I can get myself over there.
Amazing.
Very exciting.
Because they need another Jew in the comedy industry. They're just begging for my original voice.
Everybody needs another Jew.
Yeah, great time to end. Yeah.
Where can people find you, Andrea?
At Shut Up Andrea on Twitter.
That is
Cool.
a very self-aware handle. Anything else? Anything?
I mean, I've got stuff that I'm doing. I haven't got a show or any previews at the moment, but I'll be in Edinburgh next year.
Great.
So,
Andrew Hubert?
for an as untitled show about loneliness and aging, I guess. I don't know.
Inspired
and
stuff.
anti-Semitism. I'm throwing all that out there. I think it'll be funny.
All right, at Shut Up Andrew, and that's Andrew Hubert. And Rob?
When's this coming out?
It's coming out this week.
All right, cool. Well, I'm releasing my special on the 6th, I think it is, Sunday the 6th. For people who are watching this...
6th of October.
Of October. 2019. That's the one.
Because this could be in a fucking time capsule, cunt.
Yeah, that is true. So, but like, if you're watching it later than the 6th of October 2019, it's out. Watch it on YouTube. Or on my website, it's robcomedy.co.uk. I'm putting it up on there. I filmed it at Edinburgh. I think it's really good, and you should watch it.
He is very funny.
Thank you.
He is funny.
My handle is at Rob Mulholland on like Twitter or Insta. But like, Rob Comedy is the best place to go. It's got all my links on there. You can find all my videos. And yeah, if you want to watch that special, I'm going to do a preview, like a sort of premiere at 6 p.m. on October the 6th. But go on my website, you can see all those details. Check it out.
Fantastic.
Other than that, just find him in Manchester. He's moving there.
He's very tall. Easy to spot.
I am.
And you have a podcast as well.
Oh, I do,
Give it a
yeah. I
quick
should
plug.
mention that, yeah. It's called Rob Mulholland Has an Opinion.
And the episodes are really short enough for Andrew to go to the bathroom.
Jesus
We're
Christ.
ending this
I need to
episode.
leave.
The way you end it is everyone says cheers, mate. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Cheers, mate!
All right, see you cunts later. It's a good one. Bye. The Union Jackoff with Daniel Muggleton.